The billing alert arrived at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, flagging unauthorized access to client files I hadn't touched in weeks. I'm Heath Blackwood, 42, media and entertainment partner at one of Austin's most prestigious law firms. 20 years of practice had taught me to trust my instincts about irregularities. This felt wrong. The notification glowed on my phone screen as I sat in my home office, reviewing contracts for a streaming platform acquisition. Someone had accessed the Meridian Studios case files at 1:43 a.m. The timestamp showed my user credentials, but I'd been home since 8 o'clock. I pulled up our case management system on my laptop. The access logs painted a disturbing picture. My login had been active for 3 hours, downloading discovery documents, client communications, and strategic memos. Files I'd specifically marked as confidential to partners only. The Meridian deal was worth $47 million. Our client trusted us with proprietary information that could tank their stock price if leaked. Someone was either testing our security or stealing our work product. I scrolled through the activity log. Whoever used my credentials knew exactly which files to target. They'd avoided the routine documents and focused on our litigation strategy, settlement negotiations, and client privilege communications. This wasn't random corporate espionage. My phone buzzed with another alert. This time, someone had accessed the Hartwell Entertainment files from 30 minutes ago. Again, using my credentials while I sat in my study, staring at the of systematic infiltration, I called our IT security consultant, Desmond Ashford. His phone went straight to voicemail. Strange, considering he'd insisted on 24-hour availability when the firm hired him 6 months ago. Desmond had implemented our new security protocols after a minor data breach last year. He'd gained access to every system, every password, every client file in the name of protection. The pattern became clearer as I dug deeper into the logs. My credentials had been used to access files across multiple practice areas over the past 3 weeks. Corporate mergers, intellectual property disputes, entertainment contracts worth hundreds of millions. Someone was building a comprehensive picture of our client base and legal strategies. I drafted an email to our managing partner, then deleted it. Without proof of actual theft or misuse, I'd sound paranoid. But the timing felt deliberate. These weren't random security tests or system glitches. My laptop chimed with another notification. Someone had just downloaded our entire client contact database using my login credentials. The theft was happening in real time, and I was watching it unfold from my home office while the perpetrator operated with impunity. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. The firm's offices would be empty at this hour, but the security cameras would show who was really behind these downloads. 20 minutes later, I stood in our darkened lobby, watching the elevator numbers climb to the 15th floor where our IT systems were housed. The elevator descended. The doors opened to reveal Desmond Ashford, carrying a laptop bag and looking surprised to see me standing there at 3 a.m. "Heath!" Desmond's voice carried forced casualness. "Working late, too." I studied his face in the lobby's dim lighting. System alerts woke me up. Someone's been accessing files using my credentials. His expression shifted slightly. "Probably residual testing from the security audit. I'll check the logs tomorrow." "The downloads are happening now. While you're here." Desmond adjusted his laptop bag. "I was running diagnostics on the backup servers. Standard maintenance." I pulled out my phone and showed him the real-time alerts. "These show active file downloads from the main database, not backups." He glanced at the screen, then back at my face. "System glitch. The monitoring software sometimes cross-references activities." "Desmond, I've been practicing law for 15 years. I know when someone's lying." The silence stretched between us. Security cameras recorded our conversation from 3 angles. Whatever happened next would be documented. "You hired me to protect this firm," he said finally. "Sometimes protection requires understanding vulnerabilities. By stealing client files? By identifying what competitors might target." His tone grew defensive. "I've been documenting security gaps in your systems. The downloads help me understand data flow patterns." I stepped closer. "Using my credentials without authorization is identity theft. Accessing privileged communications violates attorney-client privilege. You're committing felonies. Desmond's composure cracked. The firm's security was a joke when I arrived. Any first-year hacker could have accessed these files. I'm showing you the problems. By creating them? By exposing them before someone else does. I activated my phone's recording app. How long have you been downloading client files? He noticed the gesture. This conversation is over. The logs show 3 weeks of systematic access. Entertainment contracts, merger documents, intellectual property filings. You've stolen everything. I haven't stolen anything. I'm conducting authorized security testing. Show me the authorization. Desmond couldn't. Because it didn't exist, I'd trusted him completely. When HR questioned his irregular work hours, I intervened. When partners complained about his access requirements, I vouched for his expertise. When clients expressed concerns about data security, I assured them our consultant was the best in Austin. The Hartwell Entertainment deal, I said. You accessed those files tonight. That contract isn't even finalized. I was testing. You were stealing. For who? His silence confirmed my suspicions. This wasn't random theft or security testing. Someone was paying Desmond for specific information about our clients and cases. The Morrison merger documents, the Blackstone intellectual property portfolio, the Davidson Entertainment contracts. I listed the files from memory. You've accessed every major deal we're handling. You can't prove intent to distribute. I can prove unauthorized access using stolen credentials. That's enough for criminal charges. Desmond's phone buzzed. He glanced at it instinctively, then tried to hide the screen, but I caught a glimpse of the message preview. Transfer complete. Payment pending verification. Who's buying our client information? No one. This is a misunderstanding. Your phone just received a payment notification. He backed toward the elevator. I'm leaving. If you want to discuss this further, contact my attorney. You're not leaving with that laptop. Try to stop me. I didn't need to. The elevator required keycard access after hours, and I'd already triggered the security lockdown protocol from my phone. The building was sealed until morning or until security arrived. The police are en route, I said, along with our managing partner and the bar's disciplinary counsel. Desmond's face went pale. You're making a mistake. The mistake was trusting you. I'd discovered the scope of his betrayal through the digital trail he'd left behind. 3 weeks of systematic theft. Hundreds of confidential files. Client strategies worth millions of dollars. Attorney-client privileged communications sold to the highest bidder. The elevator remained locked. Desmond sat heavily in a lobby chair, still clutching his laptop bag. Inside that bag was of the largest data breach in our firm's history. How much? I asked. How much? What? How much did they pay you? Desmond stared at the floor. $50,000, plus bonuses for specific deals. Over 3 weeks? 6 months. Since I started here. The betrayal ran deeper than I'd imagined. From his first day at the firm, Desmond had been stealing our clients' most sensitive information. Every security protocol he'd implemented had been designed to facilitate theft, not prevent it. Who's the buyer? A competitor. They wanted market intelligence. Which competitor? I can't tell you that. You will, either to me now or to federal investigators later. Sirens echoed from the street below. Austin Police Department and FBI cybercrime units were taking this seriously. Corporate espionage involving attorney-client privilege violations carried severe penalties. Desmond opened his laptop bag and removed an external hard drive. Everything's on here. 6 months of files, organized by practice area and client value. How many firms have you done this to? Just yours. This was my first contract. Your first and last. The lobby doors opened as police officers entered with our managing partner, Isadora Blackwood, and a federal agent I didn't recognize. Desmond's betrayal was about to become a criminal matter, but the damage was already done. Hundreds of clients would need notification. Ongoing cases might be compromised. Our reputation would suffer regardless of the legal outcome. I handed the federal agent my phone with the recorded conversation and real-time access logs. He's been stealing client files for 6 months using my credentials. Desmond Ashford, the security consultant we'd trusted to protect our firm, had systematically betrayed every client we represented. The federal investigation moved faster than any case I'd handled in 15 years of practice. Agent Martinez from the FBI's Austin field office established a command center in our largest conference room within hours of Desmond's arrest. "Mr. Blackwood, we need complete access to your case management system," Martinez said, reviewing the external hard drive contents. "This breach affects ongoing federal litigation." Our managing partner, Isadora Blackwood, coordinated with the Lawyer Regulation Department while I worked with the FBI team. The scope of Desmond's theft was staggering. Client files worth over $200 million in active litigation had been compromised. "Which competitor bought the information?" I asked Martinez during a brief break. "We're still investigating. The payments came through shell companies in Delaware and Nevada." The firm's emergency partners meeting convened at 8 p.m. 12 senior partners gathered around our mahogany conference table, faces grim under fluorescent lighting. The betrayal had shaken everyone's confidence in our security protocols. "How do we notify affected clients?" asked Isadora Ashford, our litigation chair. "Carefully," I replied. "We're dealing with attorney-client privilege violations and potential malpractice claims." Our general counsel outlined the notification requirements. Under Texas ethics rules, we had 72 hours to inform clients of the breach. Each notification letter would need approval from both the FBI and our malpractice insurance carrier. The next morning brought the first client lawsuit. Meridian Entertainment filed a $50 million claim alleging negligent security practices. Their merger documents had been among Desmond's stolen files. They're seeking damages for lost deal value, our insurance attorney explained. The buyer withdrew after learning about the breach. 3 more lawsuits followed by noon. Each client claimed our security failures had compromised their competitive position. The total exposure exceeded our malpractice coverage limits. Chief Counsel for Legal Accountability David Lynn arrived from the Lawyer Regulation Department that afternoon. His investigation would determine whether our firm faced disciplinary action for inadequate client protection. "Mr. Blackwood, walk me through your credential management system," Lynn said, reviewing our security audit logs. "Each attorney has unique access codes." Desmond had administrative privileges to monitor system usage. Who authorized those privileges? The Executive Committee. Based on his security clearance background, Lynn's expression remained neutral, but his questions grew more pointed. The Lawyer Regulation Department was building a case for systemic negligence in our client protection protocols. Desmond's criminal arraignment took place 3 days later. Federal prosecutors charged him with wire fraud, computer intrusion, and violation of the economic espionage. The potential sentence was 20 years in federal prison. "Your Honor, Mr. Ashford has agreed to cooperate fully with the ongoing investigation," his defense attorney announced. That cooperation revealed the buyer's identity. Hartwell & Associates, a competing Austin firm, had paid Desmond for specific client intelligence over 6 months. Their managing partner was arrested the following week. The bar complaint against our firm arrived 2 weeks after the initial breach discovery. The State Bar of Texas alleged inadequate supervision of support staff and failure to maintain client confidentiality. Our response brief ran 47 pages. "We implemented industry-standard security measures," I argued during the disciplinary hearing. "Desmond exploited his administrative access beyond any reasonable security protocol." The hearing panel disagreed. Our firm received a public censure and mandatory security training requirements. 3 partners faced individual sanctions for inadequate oversight. Client settlements began in earnest after the bar decision. Meridian Entertainment accepted $12 million. 2 other clients settled for smaller amounts. Our malpractice insurance covered most claims, but the reputational damage was permanent. Desmond pleaded guilty to all federal charges 6 weeks later. His cooperation agreement included full restitution to affected clients and a detailed confession of his methods. The sentencing hearing was scheduled for December. Mr. Ashford systematically exploited his position of trust. the federal prosecutor told the judge. His actions compromised hundreds of confidential attorney-client communications. The judge sentenced Desmond to 8 years in federal prison and ordered him to pay $3 million in restitution. His security clearance was permanently revoked, ending any future career in cybersecurity consulting. Hartwell and Associates faced their own reckoning. The state bar suspended their managing partner for 2 years and imposed $1 million fine on the firm. Several clients filed malpractice suits alleging conflicts of interest from the stolen intelligence. Our firm's recovery process took months. We hired a new cybersecurity company, implemented multi-factor authentication, and created detailed access logs for all client files. The executive committee approved a comprehensive security overhaul costing $400,000. Trust but verify became our new motto. Every consultant, contractor, and temporary employee now underwent enhanced background checks and limited system access. The days of blanket administrative privileges were over. I testified before the Austin Bar Association's Ethics Committee about lessons learned from the breach. My presentation focused on the importance of segregated access controls and regular security audits. Betrayal often comes from within, I told the assembled attorneys. Our greatest vulnerability was trusting someone without adequate verification. The final client lawsuit settled in November. Our total payout exceeded $8 million, but the firm survived. Several partners left for other practices, but the core group remained committed to rebuilding our reputation. Desmond began serving his sentence at a federal facility in East Texas. His cooperation had helped prosecutors build cases against 3 other firms involved in similar schemes. The cybercrime investigation expanded beyond Austin to include firms in Dallas and Houston. The Lawyer Regulation Department's final report praised our cooperation but criticized our initial security protocols. Their recommendations became mandatory guidelines for all Texas law firms handling sensitive client information. Justice had been served, but the scars remained visible throughout our practice. 6 months later, I stood in my new corner office overlooking Lady Bird Lake. The nameplate on my desk read, Heath Blackwood, Senior Partner, at Morrison & Klein, a boutique entertainment law firm specializing in digital media rights. The transition had been smoother than expected. 3 major clients followed me from the old firm, bringing their streaming platform contracts and music licensing deals. My reputation had survived the cybersecurity scandal, perhaps even strengthened by my role in exposing it. Morrison & Klein operated differently. We maintained only 12 attorneys, each with specialized expertise. No massive partnerships. No administrative consultants with unlimited system access. Every case file required dual authorization to access. The Austin legal community had learned harsh lessons from our experience. 4 other firms reported similar security breaches in the months following Desmond's arrest. The State Bar responded by mandating annual cybersecurity training for all practicing attorneys. I coordinate bar-wide reform votes on fee-splitting abuses and data protection standards. The new regulations require quarterly security audits and limit contractor access to client information. Several firms initially resisted the changes, but recent breach settlements convinced most skeptics. Isadora Hartwell contacted me last month. Her firm had dissolved after the malpractice settlements, and she was starting a solo practice focused on small business law. She thanked me for exposing the conspiracy before it destroyed more careers. "You saved my reputation," she said during our coffee meeting. "I could have been disbarred if this had continued." The federal investigation concluded in February. Prosecutors identified 17 law firms across Texas that had been compromised by similar schemes. Total damages exceeded $40 million. 3 additional consultants received prison sentences ranging from 18 months to 4 years. My new partners appreciated my experience with complex security protocols. We implemented blockchain-based document verification and encrypted client communications from day one. Trust required constant vigilance, not blind faith in credentials. The entertainment industry clients brought fascinating challenges. Streaming rights negotiations, influencer contract disputes, and digital copyright enforcement kept my practice engaging. The work felt cleaner somehow, focused on creativity rather than corporate litigation. Last week I received a letter from the federal prison where Desmond was serving his sentence. He requested a meeting to discuss his cooperation with ongoing investigations. I declined through my attorney. Some conversations weren't worth having. The old firm survived but never fully recovered. They lost 30% of their client base and downsized to half their original attorney count. The managing partner retired early, citing health concerns. New leadership implemented security measures that should have existed years earlier. My new office walls displayed certificates from cybersecurity training programs and digital forensics courses. The betrayal had taught me that legal expertise alone wasn't sufficient in modern practice. Technology literacy had become essential for protecting clients. The silence in my new office felt different. Peaceful rather than ominous. No mysterious alerts. No unexplained system access. No consultants with hidden agendas lurking in our network. It was finally over, and the silence felt earned.